It is one of America's great Catholic strongholds. With Christendom College as the anchor, Front Royal, Virginia is a magnet for families seeking to live an intentional, sacramental life. And life was very good in the Shenandoah Valley in early 2020.
My family transplanted from Orlando, Florida to Front Royal, Virginia because we were attracted to the beautiful Catholic community. It just seemed to be overflowing with just this piety and these good Catholic families. And I thought that is so important for my family to grow up in that.
Then COVID struck, and most Catholic bishops showed no fight, closing churches entirely or severely limiting attendance.
I wasn't quite sure why. No matter what's going on in the world, the Catholic Church should be the leader, the crusader for our health, mind, body, and soul. It didn't make sense to me that they closed their doors. That's when we need them most.
We were having Mass, watching it online in our home. And she said, "Mommy, what are we doing?" You said, we have to go to church every Sunday, the third commandment. You know, and that's when it hit me. And I thought, we cannot continue to do this. And I begged God, please, my children will not be formed in their faith, and everything I will have taught them will seem like it was just words.
We just prayed like crazy for a place we could find Mass because I have 10 children. We were over the 10-person limit and no one would say Mass for us.
The prayers of the families were answered, and God led them right here to the Warren County Fairgrounds, where the now famous car masses were held, sometimes attracting as many as 500 families from all over the East Coast.
I emailed in the middle of the night asking if they'd be willing to rent it out for a Mass because I thought nothing's going on in a lockdown at the fairgrounds. So I called Father Reuter to let him know that it was available, and he couldn't come up to rent it, so that's how I ended up having to rent it. We just did it on the leap of faith. He didn't even have permission to say the Mass yet. We did it on the leap of faith because I thought this is an answer to prayer. God led me to this for a reason.
Father Reuter is Father Stephen Reuter of the Society of St. Pius X.
So I was really edified to see people make this long drive and then sit in their car for the whole Mass, listening to the Mass through their radio system or through their phones, and only leaving the car to receive communion. So I was really edified to see the generosity of the people, their profound faith, and their willingness to make sacrifices to receive the sacraments.
Jim and Ann Lunt had no intention of attending an SSPX parish when they left New Hampshire for Front Royal 3 years ago. But after being locked out of the local diocesan parish, they rediscovered the richness and beauty of the ancient faith in what is now the Immaculate Heart of Mary Chapel, an official mission parish of the SSPX.
My attendance at SSPX Masses is probably best exemplified by the fact that I went to an ordination a couple of weeks ago down in Dillon, and I saw how my 3 uncles were ordained. This is the way priests have been ordained for centuries. When I attended Mass, it's a sung high Mass, and there's such richness and beauty. You get to encounter the Almighty, and you know where you are and why you're there.
We were really up against 75 other groups that were petitioning the society at that time, who'd been doing it longer, who possibly might have had more people, and yet we were the ones who were granted, out of 75 other applicants, the right to have that chapel. So that meant something to us, and we knew that we needed to fight. We knew that that's a grace from God, because the order is stretched very thin. There's all these beautiful, wonderful priests, but then to have another chapel, they're really having to take priests from the seminary to serve us.
The Thomas Aquinas Seminary is 2.5 hours south of Front Royal, where Father John Carlisle serves on the faculty and doubles as the parish priest at the chapel.
We really do need priests. We have people starving. And so it was really a beautiful, there's so much grace, so much beauty that came through in these circumstances, such that, constantly reminded that God's in complete control, even during the craziness when it seems like maybe somehow God, has lost control, but much to the contrary.
And the Immaculate Heart of Mary Chapel, which didn't even exist a year and a half ago, is proof that God is in control and Christ himself is at the center.
The sacrifice of Christ is the center of history, it's the center of existence, and that needs to be the center of every Catholic's life, of every family's life, of every nation's life.
Are you going to stand up? And are you going to be part of the church militant here? And are you actually going to pick up your cross and fight this battle? Because everything depends on it. The future generation of Catholics depend on it. The whole world depends on it. St. Padre Pio said the world would not continue for a day without the Mass. I am paraphrasing, of course, but I could see the results of that during the lockdown. The world seems to have gone nuts, even more so than normal, just not having the Mass. If we can continue doing that and we do our part, we'll leave the rest in God's hands.